Acquire limitless joy by worshipping the Adya Shakti. Three power streams of the Adya Shakti, primordial, supreme, eternal divine consciousness force, have been affirmed as the origins of all virtuous qualities, powers, talents, and prosperities in this world. One's true accomplishments and progress depend upon the extent of attainments of these. These three manifestations of the Adya Shakti are revered as the goddesses Mahasaraswati, Mahalakshmi, and Mahakali. These are also regarded as the core powers, the life forces of gods Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, respectively. God is said to be powerless without these inspirations of Adya Shakti. Sage Shankaracharya explains this as, there is no sensation in Shiva without Shakti. The journey of the soul progresses with the help of the body. Similarly, the realization of Shiva is achieved by following an enlightened devotion of Shakti. God cannot be achieved without sincere faith and devotion through pure heart. Shiva cannot be realized without Shakti. The path of auspicious ascent and welfare cannot be attained without the beatifying divine light of Shakti. The grace of the Mother Supreme Adya Shakti is essential to achieve God and to achieve the progress of the soul. Weak, virtueless individuals can build castles in the air, but can achieve negligible in reality. All kinds of achievement, from worldly pleasures to the beatifying bliss, limitless joy of achieving God, are possible only by the blessings of that Mother Goddess Shakti. The Vedic literature sings paeans of the importance of worshipping Mahasaraswati, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali, the three eternal divine powers. The scriptures also signify the attainment of supramental talents and potentials by the grace of these goddess forms and describe in detail the sadhanas and methods of their worship. Mahasaraswati is the divine source of brilliance, pure knowledge, wisdom, prudence, logical and analytical thinking, awareness, and trenchant skills. Mahalakshmi is the goddess of wealth, prosperity, materialistic resources, property, and estate. The divine force, Mahakali, gives rise to the strength to overcome the enemy, the sharpness of a sword, an attempt to destroy the evils, the skills of statesmanship and alignment. The angelic sages, rishis of Vedic age, had realized the sublime knowledge of the majesty of these three great Shaktis, and had affirmed that the acquisition of these foundational elements of ascent are essential for all individuals, societies, and nations in all ages towards happy sustenance of life, making progress in any direction and rising with dignity. This is the reason why the idol of Mother Goddess Bhagavati wielding trident, as a symbol of these three streams of Shakti, is worshipped in the Vedic religions. They whose devotion is sincere are blessed by her enormous grace. The saints and sages of Hindu religion seem to have also been great poets and artists. Their rhetoric style of preaching the Vedic philosophy to the masses is unparalleled. Everything, even the manifestations of divine powers, have been described in the Hindu religious scriptures in the form of artistic pictures and enchanting narrations. People with superficial glance find the enchanting descriptions and stories associated with different manifestations of gods and goddesses spread throughout in the Puranas and other Indian scriptures as mere gossip, but in fact it is not so. The style of our ancient system has been to present important elements of deeper knowledge hidden or implied in an ornamental depiction and enchanting narration, so the listener, reader, would easily engross his mind in it and also remember it. And then, as per the indications or commentaries of the guru or religious teacher, may try to locate that hidden element in the elaboration, in the picturized words. By intensely applying their mind, the disciples may ascertain the deep sense that is assimilated in that poetic creation of words or artistic design of symbols. Using this style, the creators and the preachers of the ancient text used to achieve an inner satisfaction of conveying deeper knowledge in a style that would be within the reach of even the primitive minds, and the listeners also used to find it very interesting. The seeker engaged in deciphering the deeper meaning used to feel a great sense of joy in the success of his search. Along with the enhancement of pleasure, the education imparted in this system used to get deeply implanted in the hearts of both the teacher and the disciple. It would not be so easy to wipe it out, as happens now in the present-day vocabulary, that people listen through one ear and throw out through the other. Presentation of the divine manifestations of the Supreme Almighty Power, Mahashakti, in the beautiful pictures or idols of goddesses, as referred above, is also a part of the artistic and poetic approach of ancient text. Today, superstition has substituted the capacity to understand the philosophical facts. People with primitive knowledge often consider Saraswati, Lakshmi, Kali as some divine women who walk and talk like humans but remain hidden, who are seen only by the blessed devotees, who get pleased with prayer, worship, counting of beads in the rosary, offerings of fragrance of agarbati, lighting of dipaka, and offerings of sweet edibles, etc., and who fill the house of a devotee with enormous wealth in a moment, in a blink of the eyelid. People who regard that their duty is complete by worshipping the idol of the goddess, and who hope to get their house filled suddenly with all the wealth when the goddess is pleased with the power of tantra and mantra. Their daydreams cannot be fulfilled. Success can be achieved only by making substantial efforts in the right manner while also having a thorough knowledge of the necessary facts. You may be blessed by the great boons of the divine powers only if, instead of superstition and superficial rituals, you endeavor sincerely with pure wisdom, benevolent heart, and good deeds to please them. For this, you must first understand what the symbolic depictions of the divine powers imply. Goddess Saraswati has been depicted in the Indian scriptures as holding a veena in one hand and a book in the other. The implication of a book is obvious. The chiseled refinement of thoughts can be achieved only by studying good literature and gaining pure knowledge. The great thinkers and sages in this world have left and continue to leave their preeminent knowledge in their writings and speeches. So, to study the compilations of their thoughts is equivalent to getting benefited by their satsang, enlightened discourses and discussions. It is necessary to go through the experiences and scrupulous research conducted by knowledgeable persons to fill up our treasure of knowledge. This can be done only with the help of good books. To become learned, one has to have an interest and an urge for reading. Veena, in the other hand, of the goddess form, reveals that your chords of emotions should continue to vibrate. Knowledge or education is not just for the sake of becoming learned. Its real utility is that it should resonate the strings of heart, emotions, in tune with its puritanical effects. Have full of faith on the conclusions you reach after the detailed study, contemplation, and discerning analysis. Be devoted to this prudent fate. Adopt this enlightenment in action. Your belief should be in consonance with your conduct. Thus, Put your knowledge to real beneficial use. Veena and Love, for Book of Goddess Saraswati riding on a swan, reveal that a seeker of knowledge should be in a habit of regular reading, should also link the acquired knowledge with devotion and actions by vibrating the strings of the Veena of heart by the beats of knowledge. This only is the apparently simple but very important method of worshipping Goddess Saraswati, which her idol form teaches us. The worshipper of Mahasaraswati, riding on the swan, Rajhans, should be prudent like a swan, which is capable of separating out milk from water. The discerning wisdom of distinguishing what is righteous and what is wrong is developed with repeated remembering and adoption of this tendency of the symbolic swan. All sorts of material is available in plenty in the world. It depends on the capability of an individual, whether he selects good and worthy items, or picks up useless or harmful things. Good as well as misleading views are available in all religious doctrines. Diverse elements have found place in the latter according to the requirements of time, so you should adopt only those religious principles that are suitable for the present times and discard whatever has become irrelevant or unsuitable now, despite maybe being useful sometime in the distant past. The milk of a few hours past has now been converted into curds. The sweet merchant separates out the water from the curds and throws it away and sells out the settled part to customers. A little earlier, when this very curd was in the form of milk, there was no need to separate out the water component. But with the passage of time, the condition has altered. Milk mixed with water could be sold out earlier, but now the water separated out in the curd cannot be sold. The scriptures of different religions, sermons, thoughts, traditions might have been very useful, beneficial, and essential for that era, but if the situation has changed today, then accept only those elements as are relevant and suitable now. Prudent thinking and analysis should also be applied to judge the modern trends as well. In this way, if you cultivate a sane tendency of protecting yourself carefully from superstitions, you will continue to grow wise and gradually gain the level of the swan, which being the carrier of the goddess of intelligence, deserves her divine grace. To improve the wisdom, it is necessary not to remain obstinate or prejudiced on any one issue, and not to be bent upon proving your own view superior. Instead, if you accept rational, well-reasoned views and are ready to correct yourself like an impartial seeker of the truth or like an open-minded researcher, then your knowledge will enhance day by day. Those who persist with the thought that our views are proper and those of others false will never make any progress in their knowledge and reasoning. Those who intend to expand their wisdom and enhance their experience should follow the approach of being receptive to learning and should be selective in what is to be accepted. A simple method to find out the utility or worthlessness of anything is to keep in view the other similar things and make a detailed analysis with unprejudiced mind to find which of them is better. It is not proper to be a blind follower of anything under the influence of sentiments without discretion. This does not awaken the brilliance of mind, nor does this make it possible to achieve the best. Do not count just the advantages of the task you want to undertake. By doing this, you may falter. So pay attention to the harm also besides the advantages, keeping in view the associated difficulties. Decisions and selections made after considering all relevant aspects will be sound and will seldom leave any ground for repentance. Whatever is happening around you, Whatever has happened in the past, do not neglect them. Instead, keep a hawk's eye on them and ponder over them as to what are the causes of such occurrences in the present or in the past. How much are such causes relevant in the present circumstances? With such perusals, you will be able to draw certain conclusions and will gain some experience. These conclusions and experiences will gradually increase and become so much firm that a lot will be created or shaped in your future life on their basis. Not much experience can be gained by happenings in one's own life. If you want to be experienced and become expert, you will have to improve upon your own capabilities and also learn from others' experiences by analyzing the happenings in the lives of others. Most of the unhappiness arises due to improper understanding of facts and defective thinking process. Upon the death of a close relative, you cry hoarse and curse your fate, abandon taking food, starve, and get lean and thin, and what not. Such a horrible situation is your own creation. Every living being is bound to die one day. Similarly, your relative also had to die. Sun has to set. Even if you cry, seeing it getting set, it will not relinquish its routine. Is it not erroneous if one assumes that the sun will continue to shine forever and expects it to do so, and then cries over when it does not happen as expected? The person who died is not the cause of your gloom, as he took the path preset by nature that everybody has to follow sometime. The fault is with your unwise attitude, which, because of emotional attachment, regards that someone should remain alive forever, despite knowing that everybody's death is certain, and which entwines a lot of hopes with him. He who finds his castles of hopes crumbling more, cries more on his failures. He who had a lot of selfish interests in the man dead cries more to that extent. Why will one feel sad if he had not tied any expectations or attachments with him, or had no desire to be served by him? We do not shed even one drop of tear on any number of people dying or getting cremated daily, but get disturbed a lot and cry a lot when a person with whom our selfish requirements are tied dies. By undergoing a proper education of spiritual knowledge, if you recognize your every beloved person as bound to death, and without building castles of lots of hopes, on him adopt an outlook of maintaining your best relationship with him with feelings of duty, then rest assured there will be no pain upon his death. Who feels sad on destruction of an item with which one has no affinity? If you have no attachment with worldly possessions, and you do not consider yourself as their owner, but a serving custodian, then you will be easily saved from the pain of bereavement, from the loved ones, from theft and loss, etc. Everything in this world is destructible and can get destroyed any moment. My duty is to fulfill my responsibility towards them in the best possible manner, without any attachment. If this knowledge gets firmly rooted in your heart, then rest assured that all your worries and pains would end in no time. The degradation of health of the body or the aggravation of illness does not occur by itself, but because of our mistakes. The main grounds of loss of health are carelessness in food quality and in eating habits, avoidance of rules of nature, and excessive depletion of energy. The people who pay good attention to health, follow the disciplines of fitness, stay strong and without illness. Look how healthy and well-built are the bodies of residents of Europe and America. They do not cry over fate as we do. Instead, they strictly follow the rules of balanced food, exercise, and maintain a disciplined routine, use their wisdom, and put in a lot of efforts for staying healthy, with the result that they do not generally fall ill or suffer weakness, and thus minimize the chances of untimely death. Observe in our own country itself how people of lower strata are in poor shape from health point of view as compared to those of higher strata. In society, the reason is not lack of mercy of God, but their ignorance and carelessness. You can regain good health by due care and efforts. If you continue to remain negligent, you would degrade your health even more. The key is, within you, you yourself are the master of your health. How can anybody else interfere with it? Vaidyas and doctors can advise and prescribe medicines, but the key to freedom from illness is not with these people. It will have to be traced within. Earning of wealth, education, and increase in wisdom, all these properties can be gained by intense labor, unrelenting efforts, and fearless enthusiasm. Those whom you see today as rich and successful have not suddenly grown so. They have worked hard devoutly and without any break, and have taken pains to reach the higher goals. Those whom you see as learned have been diligent for years, have been reading books for long, have engrossed themselves in studies, leaving aside all plays, enjoyments of pleasure trips, and other entertainments. Those whom you see as wise have been in constructive association of wise people, have struggled for chiseled intellect, have applied their wisdom vibrantly and trenchantly, have delved deep to solve problems, and have undertaken demanding tasks to acquire knowledge. If these people had not done so, it would not have been possible for them to be rich, learned, or wise. Courageous and industrious people achieve prosperity and power. Weak people go on begging before God for help. If you want to gain prosperity and success, you will not get them as gifts from any outsider. You will have to gain them by your own abilities and efforts. If you examine the mental state of those whom you find as gifted with respect, admiration, and cooperation, and those who have a large number of friends, devotees, and fans, you will notice that they have a large number of good qualities which attract people. They have many talents and special attributes which benefit people. It is not that they achieve greatness and praise without any efforts. In fact, they acquire such glories only after becoming worthy of achieving these. Hummingbees do not approach flowers with no smell. Only such flowers which have attractive fragrance hidden within are fortunate to see the bees and butterflies hovering around them, humming sweetly. If a group of hummingbees hover over a lotus flower, it is not their mercy, rather it is due to the special quality of the lotus flower. The poor, fragranceless Kana flower, on the contrary, stands alone in a corner. We agree that sometimes one suddenly gets a lot of resources and property, which are called gifts of fortune. These are exceptions. It is an exception that some people get money lying on the route while taking a stroll on a nearby street or traveling somewhere. This cannot establish a rule that everyone, or even they, again, will necessarily get money lying on way. There are two reasons for such sudden benefits. Either one has got now what may have been destined for him from the collection of fruits of his good deeds of previous life, or one is now taking a loan which will have to be paid back in future. Not even an iota for free can one get here. If one receives the fruits of previously stored fortunes, which is like withdrawal of sums deposited in the bank, then this also is an outcome of his hard work and efforts carried out in the past. but it is worthless to boast on stale bread or on loan taken. It is not something to be proud of. Fortune is an unanticipated happening, which at times takes place because of some unseen reasons. Such exceptions of 1 or 2% cannot become established rule. Only that can be accepted as a principle which proves right in 98 on 99% cases. Thus, the principle of self-reliance is true. It is a universal fact that the key to achieve desired successes is within ourselves. We can see it happening most often and almost everywhere, that one achieves what one is worthy of. Believe in yourself, be self-dependent. It is an important principle of spirituality that the solution to all problems of one's life and the source of life's ascent lies in one's own inner self. Hence, you should search for the roots within to get rid of painful circumstances and to create opportunities that would bring joy and peace. The force of controlling and modifying your circumstances is there within you. Therefore, instead of seeking support of others, start examining your own capabilities and channelize your efforts to improve and organize your skills and potentials. Getting assistance from outside depends on how much internal abilities we have. All people respect one person, have confidence in him, and render him assistance, but another person gets just the opposite treatment. The attitude of considering that most people in the world are partisan will serve no purpose. You will have to intensively examine the qualities, the nature, the wisdom, and the behavior of both the persons. You will observe that even if both the persons are similar in terms of physical health and worldly status, their internal, mental, and emotional state is totally different. Successes and failures in life depend only on this intrinsic aspect of your personality. If you want to progress in life, you will have to pay attention to enlightening, empowering, and imparting excellence to this facet.